Hey guys, happy Monday. I wanted to get back to ADHD, the topic of ADHD, because I've been kind of going hard on the keto and product review thing, which is great, but this is half of my whole thing. The past couple days for me have been pretty up and down, especially with my mood. And to the uninitiated, this could sound like a cop out, but I really feel like it had a lot to do with the weather change. And to explain that, when the weather changes dramatically, in my case 75 degrees, what am I doing with my leg here? I have sweatpants on and business party. So when the weather changes dramatically, the pressure can affect different things, and also your serotonin levels can fluctuate, which for somebody like me can have a huge impact on my behavior or my mood or my outlook, energy. I had a really bad headache pretty much the entire time. I took a supplement that I've had for a year or so now. It's a serotonin enhancing supplement. I was like, what the fuck, why not? So I took it and there was an immediate impact. I felt a lot better. My energy was back up, because that was another issue too, is my energy was just down. My ketones were high. My glucose was low. Everything looked great keto-wise, but my energy was still fucked. It kind of put things into perspective for me that if you're somebody with ADHD or a mood disorder or whatever, if you're a moody person, you have to be very aware of external influences on yourself. If that's the weather, if that's daytime or night, whatever affects your mood, you need to figure it out and be prepared and have a contingency, have a plan to address it so it doesn't affect relationships in your life. My wife and I have a business on the side, which I'm not going to bring into this Instagram blog because they're two separate things. I guess the reason I bring that up is because throughout my life, I've had different points where I've tried to do something entrepreneurial. Sixth grade, I wanted to start a video game business, importing games from Japan that you couldn't get in the States and then selling them. So my dad actually got me a business license. It was a registered company, and he encouraged that even as somebody with no experience. And it was not really a lucrative endeavor monetarily, but it was a very important thing for me to do for myself and my growth and that expression of creativity, which is the most important fucking thing that we have as ADHD people, because the mundane is very difficult for us. The creative, it's what drives us. It's what makes us feel alive. So if that's encouraging your son or daughter to, start their lemonade stand or start their whatever they want to do, encourage it and let it happen. Even if it's a complete waste of fucking time, just let it happen, because it's going to encourage them to feel more comfortable with themselves. And dude, I had an energy pill business that I would sell vitamins at my high school football games as energy pills. Granted, I did get in trouble for this. I didn't get suspended, but it's that kind of spirit that you want to nurture and help blossom. No, I think there's a fine line from becoming a business owner to a drug dealer in this particular scenario. But, just nurture it. Give it direction. Give it a sense of purpose, because it's people like us that are trailblazers in a lot of ways. We're not afraid to do things and to, take risks and just jump into things head first. Even if it's going to fail, that's fine. It is what it is. You learn from that failure, but you cannot stifle that process. Whether it's me coming up with a new product for my business and kind of having it on the back burner, which, I like doing. I like, if I think of something, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to think of ways to monetize it or to creatively just figure it out. It's exciting for me. What isn't exciting for me And what drives me crazy and what causes me frustration that an outsider wouldn't be able to understand are things like bills or job applications, for example. Holy shit. It's just really hard to explain. You guys understand what I'm talking about if you are dealing with it. But even bills, just like looking at spreadsheets and numbers, and oh my God, it gives me anxiety thinking about it. That is not our world. If you are married, if you have somebody in your life that you consider your better half, impart that knowledge to them. Make sure they understand that that's not your world. That's not your strength. It is your kryptonite. It's your absolute weakness. And they need to probably handle that kind of shit, because it's not only going to frustrate you and cause problems that way, it's going to stifle your creativity and it's going to put you in a funk. I mean, just stay away from that shit. Just stay away from it. There's other things you can do to compensate. There's other things you can do to pull your weight. It doesn't have to be that. If you have somebody who's going to help you, if you have somebody who doesn't mind doing it, don't bog down the creative process by doing mundane things that don't interest you. Just don't do it. And if you have to explain that to somebody over and over again, fucking do it. Explain it. Get into it. Growing up, it's always been two separate things between ADD and ADHD. Either you had ADHD and you're the kid who, bounces all around and can't shut up, or you have ADD and you're just zoned out all the time, which I guess now would be referred to as inattentive or, hyperactive, whatever it is. I don't think there's as much of a distinction as people might think there is. I have a lot of things that I do that are kind of impulsive that I think could be considered hyperactive in that arena, like tapping my fingers all the time or constantly fidgeting, or I have this thing I do when I'm talking or when other people are talking, is I'll kind of follow along in my head with the words, and then my toes, I actually type out the words with my toes and this imaginary keyboard, and this is happening all the time. So I think we develop strategies for mitigating what we show on the outside as people with ADHD, because we have a lot of energy, and there has to be a productive way of dealing with that other than, talking nonstop or constantly fucking moving or whatever people do. You find your own thing to deal with that, and it might sound weird. It might not make sense to people, my typing toes or my tapping fingers, but it works for me. It works for me, and God damn it, there it is, right there. Look at that shit, nonstop. Doop, doop, doop. I think that about does it. As always, comment with questions, share your story, share your experiences, share your perspective, most importantly. And if you enjoy the content, subscribe. If you don't subscribe, then you probably support the illegal firearms trade, which is a very big deal. So don't support that and subscribe.